Welcome to Second Sunday, the second Sunday of every month. Me, Jessica Alstrom, goes live and tries to guide you through the 411 of what is happening energetically, physically, emotionally, chaotically, right? And today is a very, I feel, important second Sunday. We have kind of hit the threshold of the middle of the year. And probably this month, more than I would say, like the last 3 years, I have received endless amounts of emails and private messages from every different social media platform that I have, basically saying, like, help, what's wrong with me? So today I will be your guide, walking you through the last stages of your own personal hell. That's right. You are in a year of 2022. All right. We call this the rude awakening, right? It's the ultimate catch 22, as you've probably been noticing this year. You really felt like you had it figured out. I mean, I know that COVID gave us a kind of a monkey wrench, like, what? But then I know all of you, it started to make sense. You made a huge amount of individual and emotional progress being stuck with yourself for a couple of years. And that is exactly where we are moving out of, kind of a birthing chamber of what you've been brewing, processing, evoking, creating, avoiding, disassociated from yourself over the last few years. It's all literally coming to a head. Okay. I love the analogy of birth because, we as a collective species believe that pain is a bad thing. We believe that growth um, is scary and it's uncertain. Yet, when you were a little kid, that's all you did was you lived in a constant state of chaos and uncertainty, and you grew almost every day. I mean, your parents would look at you a week later and notice how much bigger you were. So back then, it was a natural progress, but someone told us to believe that we stopped growing, and someone told us, that we stop living when we grow up. And that's kind of where a lot of us have been playing that role in our lives of responsible adult versus, obligations and, responsibilities and what we have to do here, and then we throw more chaos in that idea when we begin to wake up and ask really important questions like, what am I here for? And, why do I act like this? And why do they act like that? And what's going on with me? And what's going on with you? And the most important questions that we have. And we had all of those same questions, before the year of 7. We just kind of got embarrassed and in trouble a lot for asking, or we didn't get the answer that we really needed to clarify the truth that was brewing within our own ability to know thyself. It's because I said so, or, don't ask that, don't feel that, don't say that, don't think that, don't do that, don't be like that, don't cry, don't yell, don't scream, don't laugh, don't play right now, right? And it puts you into that state of, okay, well, what am I allowed to be, right? So it really has come down to this really climactic end of your journey of you becoming you. And yes, you can take a breath. You are at the end of this. If you feel like right now you are either going through hell or you're parked, stuck, blocked, limited, quieted, you feel literally like you really can't make things happen that you've been able to make happen pretty easily before, are kind of all coming to a halt. Your money line's drying up. Your relationships are really vital. Your health is acting up again, right? And time feels like it's just going crazy. Like it's like hurry up and wait, right? That's kind of what, if you are experiencing any of that, you are at the end of this journey. What journey? What journey are we on? Jess, you just said in your last video, we're not on a healing journey. Don't tell your brain you're on a healing journey because then you'll be on a healing journey forever. True. The journey that you're on is the journey through integration of all levels of your consciousness. right? Not very sexy, but here we are. There are 4 levels of your consciousness, all of ours, and we are here, just like 4 valves of your heart, to integrate them and get on the same page. But the reason why we are not on the same page with the 4 levels of consciousness within ourselves is because we have been taught to separate so specifically from our own feelings, from our own bodies, from our own thoughts, from our own needs, from our own wants, from our own desires, that we lose trust for what is ours, what is theirs, what is wrong, and what is right. And that's what ultimately splits us up. Nothing feels worse than miscommunication in a relationship. Nothing feels worse when someone taking something the wrong way or out of context, or someone rejecting you and abandoning you, someone humiliating you, someone guilting and shaming you for just being yourself, right? Someone telling you to be afraid or being afraid. It's all of these things that create a lifetime of separation of our levels of consciousness within ourselves. I've called it me, myself, and I a lot in the past because I feel like that's a really easy way to understand that there are 3 very precise elements to your journey: the me, myself, and I. All right. But ultimately, we are 4 levels of consciousness because the me, and I think Eckhart Tolle said this the best in his book that was released in 2005, and it was The New Earth. And that book described it better than I could ever put into words. So we don't need to recreate the wheel here. He talked in that book about the ego being the pain body, okay? The body of pain that you carry around with you. And this body of pain, although very uncomfortable and heavy and ugly and, mean and angry and sad and hopeful and lost and alone, all the things that you would associate emotional pain with make up your individual pain body. All right. Now, as we progress in our physical reality, we have the assumption that our bodies are aging. Okay, we assume, well, I'm 25 now, I'm 35 now, I'm 47 now, that I'm getting older, right? But ultimately, if you look at the biomechanics of your own individual body, that was never ever the case. It had a gestation period of 21 years, which is 3 7-year cycles, which had its growth period. When it hit peak growth, 21 years, and you remember when you were 21, you felt invincible. Maybe you felt like even if you were under dark times, you still felt like you felt unlimited in certain ways, or you felt immortal, or you didn't care about your your mortal abilities at that time. You really were embracing kind of that freedom of, I can do what I want, I can have what I want, or maybe you weren't, but you still were under that impression that so much still was possible. Well, it is in that time that then, over a 3 years gestational period, broken down in kind of the me, myself, and I. The first 7 years is, who am I? Who am I? Second 7 years, who am I with these people, right? In my immediate intimate relations. Third 7-year cycles, who the heck am I with those people out there? The world. Those are the 3 levels of belief systems that we decide, choose, practice, perform, and become over this 21 years of time that we're deciding deep down based on what is happening, what could happen, what has happened, what hasn't happened, who we are. So I'm going to give you a quick reminder of your 4 levels of consciousness so we can really get into today's message. Number 1, where you're all sitting right now, whether you like it or not, you're unconscious. You are in the same room with your unconscious, whether you like it or not. And I'll tell you why in a minute, because it's quite biological. The unconscious part of you is your lineage, your bloodline, your repressed, suppressed memories, your repressed, suppressed perspective of yourself. And this is basically all of you that you have no idea is you. All right. It's the unconscious, like the abyss in the ocean. We don't even know what's in there. Is there life? We don't know. All we know is it's very dark and it's very deep. All right. So we all have that abyss that we have as part of us. That's what helps us create a dense body here, a materialization of form out of consciousness, because consciousness is just light and information. In order to manifest a physical matter-based body, we have to have some density. We have to have some darkness. We have to have some weight. We have to have some gravity. Okay. We have this within our exploration of the universe for thousands of years. We've been everything, if you believe that. All right. So if there is that part of you that is even just by default being born into the body that you were born in, you are connected to the genetic lineage and bloodline stories in your biological computer called a body, which means that even if you didn't make this body all by yourself, you still have one, and it is still a form of consciousness. It has memories, it has desires, it has instincts, it has needs, right? And it may feel like it's not you, okay? It may feel like it has nothing to do with you. That is where everyone is sitting right now, is what is this? Why is this? How is this? And when did this happen? And those are really actually amazing questions to ask yourself, because it takes you down that rabbit hole of you. You are an entire universe. Everything about you is the universe. You have the macro and the micro. You have your own planetary system called chakras. You have an orbit, you have gravity, you have intentions, you have different personality structures in different energy systems, and you have different levels of consciousness. So kind of like the atmosphere, and then, the land, and then the, underwater, and then the inner earth, right? There's 4 levels of consciousness right there. Okay. So your next level of consciousness is your subconscious. And this is by kind of my definition of the version of you you've had to be. This is everything that's happened to you as of you can remember. This is your operating basis. These are your belief systems, whether they are unconscious or conscious. The subconscious, so it's below the surface. It's almost like the snorkeling. You can see it, right? It may not feel like it's your world, but it definitely is visible through your behavior, your habits, your routines, your addictions, your desires, your needs, your wants, your cravings, and your attractions. Okay, this is your subconscious. Now, your conscious mind is tricky because it's the version of you who thinks that you are what you are, which means the version of you you want to be. I'm working towards this. I'm becoming this. This is where hope is. This is where racing to the finish line is. This is where the success journey is. This is where the healing journey is. This is where the love journey is. This is where the searching journey is. This is the seeking journey. This is the studying journey. This is, I am this, so I am working towards this. Not what I am, but what I want to be, what I desire to be, what I desire to have. And this mind, this consciousness right here keeps us so distracted from all the other parts of ourselves that sometimes we lose sight of literally all the things that we might not be, or the things that we are that we have not wanted to be. All right. That leaves us with the last level of consciousness, which is your super consciousness. Now, this is basically the real you, the whole you, the you that is complete, the you that knows everything, that's been everywhere, that's done everything. This is all your past, present, future selves. This is your parallel selves, but this is the completion. This is where wisdom is you. And we have found that super consciousness on this journey. We have found that in deep meditations. We have found that with breath work. We've found it with energy medicine. We found it with falling in love. We've had it with birthing babies and loving on pets and being in nature and connecting to source. And we have experienced this at least a million times, if not more. And it becomes quite addictive because we feel in all of ourselves that this is the real us. Well, that usually leaves you, once you come off of that high, craving something called dopamine. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a little crash course in your human hormones here so that you can understand that half of the time what you're feeling you need or thinking that you want is coming nothing more than a biological need for addictive hormonal response. Okay. So dopamine, kind of by our definition here in the quantum world, is the hormone that says relief and more, please. Yes, it's a passionate relief. It's a passionate release. It's a passionate gift. It's the instant gratification. It's the chocolate after a long day and a glass of wine. It's the hit off of your favorite person. It's a short-lived burst of loving relief, peaceful enjoyment, but it's very limited. And as soon as it runs out, you have a craving for more. All right. Now, dopamine's original job was a byproduct of a hard day's work. It was a byproduct of a satisfied after a meal. It was a byproduct of a connection, seeing someone's eyes go, oh, I understand. And over the time, because we've had to separate so severely from who and what we are, that now a dopamine hit looks like a call from the guy that's been ghosting you for 2 weeks. It looks like a shopping spree. It looks like, a fast food meal after a really hard day with your boss. It isn't anything like what the body actually is craving. But again, because that disconnection that we have within ourselves keeps us still searching for that dopamine, but we are now searching for an outside experience to create the dopamine because we don't work the hard day's work that makes us feel extremely like, yeah, I kicked today's ass. It's more like I survived today, right? We don't feel understood by people, so we're not getting that connection, right? That shopping spree is just putting us in more guilt and shame because now our money line is drying up. That certification that you think is going to bring you that feeling of being valuable and noble and all of these things you're going to make $1 million off of. As soon as you finish the course, you realize that now you need to learn marketing, or now you need to learn how to podcast, or now you need to hire a bunch of people to help you. And right. So then you take another class, and that is dopamine. Okay. So right now where we are in our collective evolution, and this is for people who believe in it or not, every single person is experiencing their own virtual experience of this. All right. Their own me, myself, and I, the conclusion of who they believe they are. All right. Now notice we're me, myself, and I, but there's 4 levels of consciousness. That means one is missing. Who is it? Well, it's the unconscious. And the unconscious is what we would consider the pain body, the body that has been in pain. It's its past death experiences, it's its suffering, its repression, its separation, its disassociation, its avoidance, its grief, its loss, its humiliation, its fear, its worry, its shame, its ignorance, right? It's racism. It's all the icky words that I just said. All right. That's what makes up the unconscious. And you're like, Jess, is the unconscious all bad? None of that is bad. None of that is bad. All it is you in pain. Yes, you. If you're experiencing it, it's yours. Just like what I'm experiencing is mine, right? We have become, again, disassociated. When we start to access higher levels of consciousness, we go, well, none of this is real. This is all a dream. You are right. But in this simulation, this archetype, this body that you were chosen and chose you to be with in a loving relationship as, right, does not know it's not real. It does not know the difference between imagination and real. It doesn't know you're in a simulation and a hologram. It doesn't know you get to create your own reality. It doesn't know that the person who just sliced through your heart last year was actually your greatest spiritual teacher guiding you back to self-love. Your body knows none of these things because it has to vibrate at a lower vibration to even be a material thing, right? Spirit sped way up, you wouldn't see it. Way down, it materializes. Okay? So it actually takes some pain or density to make up the part of you that could even be here, right? So in order for you to even be in this simulation, you have to, in your own experiential soul, have density yet to resolve, or you wouldn't be able to take physical form here. Some call it karma, cause and effect. Well, I call it, we have been in a billion different bodies in a billion different worlds in a billion different times, and not every situation left us feeling seen, heard, loved, and safe. So those parts of us that was not the same vibration as the source energy or the angels broke away and became our unconsciousness. Well, here we are now. And because it's still us and it's still me, it's still myself, it's still my I, then I am, even if I am blissed out in meditation, a vibrational match to my unconsciousness because it's mine. Kind of like if I have a kid, it's mine, no matter how it looks, right? If I birth anything out of me, it's mine. And I bet you if you're a parent, you can see a lot of your unconsciousness in your kids. You can see a lot of your triggers. You can see a lot of your strengths. See, it's very cool here because when we separate from ourselves, we always have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, right? And plan B was, okay, when I separate from myself because I know this place is going to shake the love right out of me, then I will be surrounded by intimate people who know me, who birthed me, who take care of me, who supposedly love me. And they will remind me who I am. But the way that they remind us is always what throws us off. They remind us by mirroring back to us the pain that is hidden inside of ourselves. And so what do? We push them away. First, we push ourselves away. Ooh, I don't like that, right? I just had a tantrum and it was unacceptable. Well, great. I thought the tantrum was part of my unconscious and I thought I was supposed to be with my unconscious here. No, you've got to hide that and be selfless. Don't be selfish. Don't tend to your own wounding. Don't tend to your trauma. Here, matter of fact, here's some more. Okay, so let's turn those first 21 years now into however old you are. And think about every 7 years that you don't step into this body and go, I'm here. Let's honor the darkest parts and the lightest parts, and let's make some things happen with the infinite potential that we are. Let's activate this DNA. Let's move our Kundalini in alignment with our 7 chakras. Let's go. Absolutely not. By this point, we have so many masks on to cover up that abyss and to disassociate from the unconscious that we're constantly stuck in a chasing the future dopamine hit that we call moments of joy. And it feels like 10 steps forward and 10 steps back. Well, here you are in 2022, and the number 2 represents duality. Now, duality to 2 is a face-off of itself, which equals non-duality, because it takes pain to turn off pain. It takes love to turn on love. And so what you're probably noticing about your journey right now is that you keep finding yourself going back to the scene at the beginning, back to your childhood, back to your breakups, back to your poverty mindset, back to your lack, back to your loss, back to your habits, back to your addictions, back to your suffering. And you're like, but I've just spent 30 grand and, 5 years on a spiritual journey. And here I am back 100%. Because when you activate your superconscious or remember or step into or become aligned with, then because your superconscious is all of you, you open up the own gates of hell within yourself. Because, hey, superconsciousness loves everything. It loves everyone. It sees no dark and light. It sees no wrong or right. So it is the version of you that can, with no judgment, with ultimate loving, heal or integrate, because you really don't need to heal the unconscious, integrate, bring in everything I mentioned that your unconscious was: suffering, disassociation, avoidance, rejection, abandonment, broken hearts, lost, repressed, suppressed, kicked out, not seen, not heard, not safe, not loved. Think about all of those things I just basically said your unconscious personality was made out of, or your mind or your body or whatever you want to call it. We call it the pain body because it's a great word. It says, oh, this isn't me. This is my pain body. It gives you a little bit of the observer effect so that you don't attach to what you believe you are repressing. It goes, okay, this is a part of me, right? And in my Master Alchemy class, we teach that this unconscious has 50% of hidden potential intuition that if you had right now, you'd have that $1 million. You'd have that genius idea. You'd have that body that knew how to sustain and change and morph into its original factory settings, which was unlimited, which didn't age, which was designed to become superhuman. But because we push away the unconscious parts of ourselves and we hide them, that the second we get close to someone that feels like a loving connection, that you gets triggered, right? So the closer you're moving to love, the closer you're moving to that room, that you, that world. And so that's why we go, well, love isn't worth it, right? That over there is not worth it. I don't want to build heaven on earth if I have to walk through hell. I don't want to do that. Well, too late. Too late, because this is the rude awakening. And you have said yes, obviously, on some point of your journey, or you wouldn't be in the same room with it by now. If you are finding yourself going, I know who I am, but I also, you have to go back and now love all that. All right? Think about it. Rejection, abandonment. This has not been formed from other people. This has been a pain body built out of your own rejection and abandonment of self. Think about your current relationship that you're in. Okay? Whether it's me and a child, me taking care of a parent, me with my partner, me with a business partner, your closest relationship right now. Think about it. Whatever that is. Okay? It's echoing your pain body back to you, for you, to show you you're not getting away from me. Me, my ego, my pain body, right? And until we turn towards that part of ourselves and say, okay, I love you, I hear you, you're safe, and you're free to express how you truly feel, then you're going to keep finding yourself thinking that you're going into a different room, and all you're doing is going back to that room, and it looks like a different space, a different place, a different face, but it is your unconscious, because we have moved into a rendezvous point where the 2-2 is a face-off of its own duality, moving and merging into non-duality. Yay, right? Okay, so I shall be your guide for that, because I know exactly what this feels like in every area of my life: time, relationships, health, and money. You have buried unconscious pain body in time. You're running out of time. You're starting to see wrinkles, right? You've wasted so much time. You've given people time. There's wounding there. There's trauma there. Why now is this happening in time? What are you using your time for? Wounding, 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 right? Okay, relationships, obvious triggers. We don't even need to explain that. Money, well, that's a frequency that is mixed with your personal freedom to create, and we know that how many triggers are there. Whether you have a buttload of money right now and you're holding on to it because you think the market's going to crash, or you have no money and you're hoping it crashes so that we can all get on the same page, you're probably feeling some tugging going on with some level of your own personal freedom, and it's probably affecting your economics. All right? Now, your bodies. Those of you who have abandoned yourself and truly believe that you were the issue at an unconscious or subconscious level are probably sitting in a lot of pain. A lot of pain in here. See, some of us, we believe that that's out there is the problem. So then that feels like the problem. Some of us feel like we're the problem, and then therefore we feel like the problem. It's very linear, logical with the body, because it believes that it is going into forward motion. But as you back up from your consciousness, you see you're going in a loop, a big fat loop from one level of consciousness to the next. As soon as you get to super consciousness, you will find yourself falling into the unconscious. And here is another catch-22. The catch-22 is that because your bodies are biologically evolving, whether you like it or not, that your dopamine receptors are not working the way they used to. the hit off the crack pipe, whatever you will call it, that person, place, or thing, is no longer feeling like dopamine. It isn't. It's not giving you the same high. Or for some reason, you can't access it. You can't get a hold of it. You can't find it. It's off the market, right? Or maybe your money was it, or maybe your freedom was it, or maybe that person is it. And so as you evolve, your brain is completely changing. See, ultimately, if we would have been very connected to ourselves, we would have an abundance of serotonin in the gut. Now, serotonin is what makes your body feel safe, not like relieved and satisfied, like a gluttonous, person who just ate a bunch of food and now needs a carb nap, but satisfied in the way where they feel safe and grounded enough where there's security underneath their footing for them to create and become something. Like a child has an abundance of serotonin when they have a consistent schedule, when they have a parent that they can go to and express their feelings and learn from and learn to be themselves with. And a child who doesn't have any of those things starts to burn through that serotonin and they say, Mommy, I've got a tummy ache, right? Well, some of you have a tummy ache. Because ultimately, the me, myself, and I, where they reside in the body, is kind of like your three brains, right? The me, I'm a thinker, I'm an overthinker, I'm a scenario thinker, I'm an assumption person, I'm assuming the future because of the past, I'm replaying the past, I'm anticipating what you're going to say, and I'm also judging and deciphering your tone of voice based on who I believe I am and who I believe I'm not. That is the me. It is the pain body that thinks. Okay? Now, your heart has another brain, and it is your connection. It is the connection to all that there is. And this heart is connected to everything unless you are separated from yourself. And then it feels like you're connected to nothing. Okay? Except in those moments of bliss, except when you get high, right? But see, when I can't be truly connected with the beautiful brain that is in my heart that knows how to interface telepathically with every other being in the universe, well, what's my alternative? Attachment. Well, I can't connect to you, but I will sure as hell attach to you. And you will love me, and you will feed me, and you will pay my bills, or you attach to others because you don't feel safe with yourself. So helping them with their issues makes you feel connected. Attachment is the opposite of connection. And that's what is constantly breaking your heart. Because your heart is not broken in connection. It only gets broken in attachment because it's like needing someone's Wi-Fi, sucking off their heart, their hot spot. You didn't need them until you met them, and all of a sudden you can't live without them. Not true. They brought you to a remembrance of your own unattachment to your own self, and they became your surrogate. That's what heartbreak is. All right? Even if you lose a loved one, even if you lose a child, because us mediums out there know that you never lose anyone. Matter of fact, when someone crosses over and gets out of this dense body, they lack an ego. They are much closer to you. But see, your physical body says, I can't touch them. I can't feel them. I can't hear their words. So they're not real anymore. And then we grieve in our own way, which we don't grieve. We don't grieve, and that's what builds a pain body. We don't suffer. We suffer by not suffering, right? We go the long way instead of the straight suffer. We don't want to suffer at all, so we actually suffer in a longer period of time. So those of you who go, well, I just don't want to fail again. You're failing every single day. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not integrating yourself. It gives you the appearance of a life. It gives you appearance of forward motion. But ultimately, within 3 months, you're going to find very similar things happening in your life after that new choice, that new person, that new thing, that new job, that new house, that new body. You're going to see similarities because you didn't actually integrate it. You ditched it. You ditched the problem again using a dopamine hit like someone new to date or a new book or a new idea or a new hope. And because you didn't feel the pain, you thought it was healed. All right. Well, a lot of us have healed so much of this by just living right, by taking care of ourselves. Allergies and diseases are some of your best gifts because it forces you to take care of yourself. It forces you to pay attention to yourself. It forces you to nurture and mommy yourselves, because those of you who, including me, had this autoimmune disease or any sort of disease, we weren't paying attention. And a body was like, hello, there's some disease here. And therefore, you get to take care of this disease if you want to keep living, right? And that keeps us in line. That keeps us close to home. That keeps us in our bodies. But what do? Now we become the identity of the diseased, or the identity of the ill, or the identity of the pain. And now we go out and we search for help, gurus, attention, so that someone will see us in pain and love us. It's a very human thing to do. All right. So, anyways, here we are. And because your bodies are evolving, the serotonin and the dopamine levels that are very natural as a byproduct of basically living right for yourself are no longer able to create abundance of themselves, because the last brain that you have is in the gut. And that creates 75% of your serotonin and regulates all of your true intuition. Your I am is also your I am. If you look at your 7 chakras, your I am super consciousness is up here. But your I am root, the seed of what you are, until it blooms, is unconscious. So I'm going to ask you a question. If you've looked around lately and been like, oh my God, you drive me crazy because you're just so full of you're so full of potential. You're so full of potential. Look in the mirror. If you're surrounding yourself with the power of influence, of manifestation, and law of attraction of a bunch of people who have endless potential but are not realizing it, you might also be in that category. Teachers, life coaches, influencers, blah, 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 blah. We have a tendency to think that we are not seeds, that we are blooms. But here's the difference. Here's how we know if we're blooming or if we're still a seed that is now a preacher, a advocate, a philosopher of the seed world. The difference is, are you dreaming and desiring and wanting to live your potential? If your answer was yes, if you have a lot of unfulfilled dreams, goals, desires within your heart, you have art, music, science, books, whatever is stuck inside of here. If it isn't living out there, then you are a seed. All right. If you are realized potential, if you've gone for it and you've opened that business, if you've taken that chance, if you've dove in and done something with that desire, if you're doing something daily to bring forth the desire inside of you through demonstration, through your physical actions, then you are becoming a bloom. And either and both are terrifying. Think about it. A seed is underneath the ground sitting in fertilizer with a bunch of other seeds. Pretty shitty, all right? But it's safe, right? The storms are up there. I'm safe in my house I can barely afford and a job I hate. But hey, fertilizer, 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 fertilizer. But hey, I'm safe, right? No, you're not. You're not safe, because the only way that you'll ever be safe is for you to be you, all right? If you're up there blooming, then you're probably facing storms that feel very scary because your bud isn't strong. It's a rookie stem. It's not a professional bloom yet. It hasn't gone through the seasonal elements yet. It hasn't survived a winter. It hasn't survived a drought. It doesn't know how to be a bloom or a butterfly. It doesn't know. So if you say, okay, I went for it, but I'm scared because I went up there, and as soon as I went up there, it was a drought. Okay, well, there's something inside of that bloom that, if you would let go of control, knows how to ration, and it knows how to still continue to grow in a drought. But when you look at a drought and you remember the drought, what that felt like down below in fertilizer, it immediately triggers you and thinks you're going to die. And it also thinks that you failed by going to the surface. Or you get up there and there's a big storm and it's too big and it bends over, it bends down that precious new bloom, and you think you're going to die, right? Well, It's just about learning the new you. So a bloom is a being that is working with all four levels of consciousness to be the state of being. A bloom doesn't do anything. It's just being itself. A seed is constantly trying to do something. But what does it take for a seed to finally become a bloom? It almost has to have a death experience. It has to crack open. It has to be completely vulnerable. Everyone around, safe in their hard candy shells, looking around going, I can see some stuff happening inside of you and it's weird. And then you're like, well, you're at the wrong people if they're making fun of that. Okay. This is why I say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. All right. So how do we do this? Just get to the freaking point. You've been talking for 40 minutes now. All right. The point of this is that you, the superconscious you, the conscious you, the one you want to be, the unconscious you, the subconscious you have to understand that if you are right now facing money issues, it is because you are unrealized creativity. You will not let it out for some reason. It is not safe. You don't believe you have the tools. This is where the catch-22 comes in, because you think, well, Jess, in order for me to get my creativity out and live my dreams, I need money, help, support, blah, blah, blah. No, you have three other levels of consciousness who are your support, your abundance, your freedom, your creativity. But because we're constantly looking outside of ourselves, we think, I'm going to just have to stay in this stupid job forever. And you're going to go broke because you're suffering from a broken heart of your own dreams. All right? Okay, so next, you got body problems. You are very, probably cynical and abusive towards yourself. You are beating yourself up. You're a bully. You may not even know it. You may not even know how hard you are to yourself because your body is like a plant. It doesn't complain. You could not water a plant and it will die. It won't once complain, at least to a voice that you can hear unless you're in DMT constantly. And then it'll be like, yo, give me some water over here. But you wouldn't see that if you weren't connected to your heart. You would just walk right past it and die and be like, I can't grow anything. Well, that's a symbol. That's a metaphor, right? Okay, so think about that. Like, this unconscious part of you has been so unnurtured and so disassociated and so rejected and so abandoned by you, it doesn't even ask for your help anymore. What it does is it sabotages your expansion. Think about it. If you hurt someone and screw someone over so much, how do you think they're going to ask or show up in your life? Do you think that they're going to keep asking in a vulnerable place, please hear me, please see me, please feel me, please keep me safe, please love me? No. They're going to move into the opposite of love, and that's hate. All right? At least in this third dimensional reality. There is no true hate. It's just an absence or a calling for love. And even the worst behavior that you could muster and sabotage within yourself is nothing more than a call for love. Saying, well, you don't get to expand without me. You don't get to find your soulmate if I'm not even part of your soulmate. I'm not even in the running. You want to ditch me to find someone who will love those parts of you, but you won't even look in our direction. All right? And the toughest part about this, you guys, is it's a catch-22. Before we can move into a non-physical reality in biological form, we have to purify all of the physical reality within ourselves. We cannot have density and pain bodies and become immortal. It won't happen. And some of you are like, I don't care about becoming immortal. I just want to pay my bills. All right. Well, abundance is part of your immortality. Freedom is your birthright. Okay. So maybe you don't want the immortality, but you want to have a really good time while you're here. Same thing. Okay, this is why it's a catch-22. Every single thing you guys think you need outside of yourselves in order to get the money or get the freedom or get the time or get the love is coming from a pain inside of you calling for your own. All right? And because this is biological and it is very, very, very overriding of your own hormonal state of being, you don't know what is intuition, what is urge, what is craving, what is unconscious having a tantrum and sabotaging, or what is the right way that you're supposed to be walking. Well, lucky for you, if you find yourself back in the return of the scene of the crime, or a pain body moment, or a past issue coming up, then you're in the right place. Because if you are in the same room with your unconscious now, you are at the end of this journey. All four of you are in the same room, and now it's time for family intervention. But because you have practiced so long, for so hard, and worked so hard to not be a part of this unconscious version of you, you have studied, you have worked, you have shapeshifted, you have masked, you have loved, you have lost so many times that you may not even know where this pain body is until you get triggered. All right? And this is how it's going to work for the masses. So you guys, do not push this video on people who are not ready to hear me. I will sound like a cuckoo. I don't care, but it's going to make you look bad. All right? This is for you who can hear me. They will have their own experience. So those who are not ready to be in the same room with their unconscious and turn toward the worst parts of themselves and love every part of themselves back to life, every rejection, every abandonment, every disassociation, every disgust, everything you've done, every guilt, every shame, every fear, every worry, then what it will do is it will majorly start showing up outside of you because you're in the same room. You're a vibrational match, hardcore. And so everything you've repressed is going to start showing up outside of you. Now, because higher self loves you so much, and that's your super consciousness, it says, ooh, yay, the way out is the way through. We can't let you off the hook here. You made it into this room. Now you got to finish the challenge. Now the one you need to love is you. You know, your body has been a cellmate, right? Trying to change it, trying to bend it, trying to reshape it, trying to get out of it, trying to hide it. It's been a cellmate. It needs to become the soul's mate. It needs to be on the same page. It needs to be working as one. It needs to be unified. The brain, the heart, the gut have got to all ask for and be the same thing. Not three different versions of you around different people, places, and things. It's going to become one. And when we become one, then we become one with outside of ourselves. Everything that is happening outside of you shows you what is happening inside. But because, again, it's biological, you cannot meditate this away, smoke it away, drink it away. That's just more rejection and more abandonment. And like I said, because you're in the same room with this energy now, if you do not turn towards yourself and move into what I would consider biohacking at this point, rebooting of the human body, turning the pain body into love, which it's fully capable of after it has its tantrums, after you share its pain, after you go through what it goes through, it will return to love. That's all it wants. But it will not return to love with your grandiose visions of love. It doesn't know love. It knows pain. So it says, if you're going to show me love, then you have to sit in my pain. And that's why you're sitting in pain right now. So you can do this the hard way, or you can do this the easy way. And the reason why you have an easy button right now is because all four levels of your consciousness are in the same room for the first time in probably, thousands of years. And you're not getting out. So there's a hard way, which is repress, suppress, and project, which means you will continue to manifest your biggest fears, your biggest worries, your crises, your brokenness, your lack, your pain from the outside world, and it will look like an attack. It'll look like it's happening to you. It will target your heart, which is your love, your intimate relationships, your intimate freedom, which is your economics, all right, and your time. It's going to do this because this is where we are in evolution. Whether you like it or not, whether you can even hear me or not, you could look at someone random who's never watched a YouTube video with a guru in it, and they are going through this. They might not know it. Ignorance is bliss. But see, you have the potential to not let the outside teach you the lessons that you could learn from the inside now. If you know this pain is here because you get triggered this way, this way, this way, this way, and you got this body issue and this money issue, you know it's there. You are reflecting that, and you are projecting that, and it is reflecting back to you. It's there, duh. You could be proactive here. And the easy button is, I know this pain body is there. I don't know what the storylines are. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what past life or lineage or bloodline or birth incident or childhood memory that I repressed, but it's there because I'm getting triggered and I'm scared and I'm worried and I feel like I'm in hell right now. And I got no dopamine anymore that's giving me the relief that has been able to take me to where I am right now. And I'm scared. All right. Then you can say, I can go in and match the frequency of this pain, and I can change the frequency into love through me, myself, and I, as long as you have one condition. There's only one condition for this: a safe environment. You will not go inside your universe if you have to be on watch on your outside universe 24/7. I've got to make sure no one hurts me. I've got to make sure no one takes my money. I've got to go to work every day. How can you go, let me take 5 and jump inside here for a while? And this is why I created Quantum Fitness. It's not about getting fit. It's about fitting higher self into the body where the pain body was. It's about saying, let's take this pain and let's integrate it into purpose, wisdom, intuition, and love. That's what it was designed to do. All it's doing is calling, but it looks like a tantrum. It looks like a bully. It looks like a saboteur. It looks like lack. It looks like rejection. It looks like abandonment, because that's what it has become from our own neglect. All right. Some of us have been enabling it. Ooh, you're a horrible little thing, you are. You just need a cookie. So neglect is also over nurturing. If we are over nurturing our pain body, which is what I was doing, and I didn't even know it. I'm like, I'm not mean to myself. I don't have a bad word to say about myself, but I was over nurturing it. And therefore I was making it okay. And so it was getting excited about a bad behavior because then it would be rewarded. And I didn't even know that. So when I created Quantum Fitness and I took myself through the ultimate rebooting and biohacking program, and I have a bunch of videos out here on exactly how we do that. It is biological. It is in a safe space. It is 90% physical, because your pain body lives in your cellular memory, your muscle memory, your neural pathways, right? All of your organ tissues, your bone marrow, your blood, and your plasma. Now, it is leaked into your physical reality through your money, time, relationships, and health. Okay? That's the byproduct of avoidance. So here we are. We have the easy button, or we have the hard way. Right now, I don't know of another program out there that is doing what I can do. How do I do this? Because I have been at this, I feel like my entire life going, why is this not working? I know how law of attraction works. I know how this works. How come this isn't better, right? Get 90% of my life perfect, and then this thing shows up. I realized that pain doesn't always go in the direction that you're heading. It waits. Are you waiting right now? Are you parked? Are you stuck? Because that's where it is. It's waiting for you to get to the high, all the good hormones that will bring up the low. The high creates the low, and the low is not a good feeling when you're alone. Okay? So think about your journey right now and where you are and how you are. Do not be hard on yourself. You are, all that is. You are source energy, but you also are human, and you are here to be, not do. You've got to allow this process to unfold. And if you ever want to go from a seed to a bloom, right, you've got to face the fears of leaving their comfort zone of fertilizer and go into the unknown, where there might be storms and challenges, but you have everything inside of you to grow strong above ground and shine your beautiful DNA very different than the next flower. There's no competition up there. It's like, wow, look at your colors. Wow, look at your colors. And that bumblebee's like, I'll take a little of both of you. Right? And this is what we're designed to do. So whether you want to look at it as the caterpillar who has to get so fat and bloated and can't move or breathe, so it has to expand into the butterfly, same room. So think about it. Me, myself, and I. A caterpillar, a cocoon, and a butterfly in the same room becoming one. All right? Seed. What's inside the seed? The me, the hard candy shell, is the seed. The inside, right, is the myself. It's the DNA. It's the everything required to grow big and strong and stay alive for as long as it can, as long as it chooses, right? And then obviously the I am, the consciousness that grows. So if you're not growing your dreams, you're not growing your potential, and you're not realizing, if you're not acting out by now the amazing things inside of your heart, then you are suffering as a seed. And if you're in a seed, then you're in the same room with all your levels of consciousness right now. All right. So because this has been such a profound experience myself going through this program and taking hundreds of people now through the virtual and the physical experience of this, is the what I'm seeing is it's creating the butterfly effect. It's like when you leave here, you're the butterfly. Now you got to learn how to fly. Yeah, it's scary, but it's way better than never, ever, ever having your wings, right? So it's a profound experience that we're having here at Quantum Fitness. And because of the mandate of the vaccines, which is interesting, is those of you who aren't vaxxed can't get into my country right now, or our country, the USA, but I can get to you. So even though I have this beautiful facility that is safe, ultimately the host is the one who creates the vibration. And I thought, I can find all of my equipment in other places of the world. I just have to pre-plan. And so we have created 2 retreats, one in Spain and one in Ireland in the middle of September. All the dates and information are on our website, jessicaalstrom.com. And because this is such an amazing time in history, some of you are going, well, I don't know if I'm a seed or a bloom, or I don't know if I need this, or I don't know if this will help, or I don't know, I feel like I've already manifested a lot already, so I don't think anything else could really bad happen to me. Then great. As long as that's not your pain body resisting. So what I decided to do is, because I've gotten so many emails about what's going to happen to me if I'm going to manifest all my unconscious pain, all my security safeties are going away, the dopamine's not working anymore, what do I do? I have created a free 30-minute biohacking analysis for you. This is not for me. This is for you to see where you are and what would best benefit you. Okay? Would it be better for you to go face all of the fire and walk through hell physically to manifest your own integration? Or can you do it in a safe environment pretty quickly, right? Because you're just ready. It's really going to depend on you. It's probably the easiest thing you've ever done, and you almost have to be in a state of surrender for it to even work. Because if you think you can still go try and win and succeed and get more letters after your name, and that's going to bring you your worth, then this is not your program. This is the program where you're like, I feel like I've been walking through hell my whole life, and I want the easy button. I deserve it. I know I'm worth it. I have been working on myself. I do love myself. Maybe not all parts yet, but I'm there. Then this will be a match for you. But ultimately, I can give you an analysis that shows you exactly what and where your pain body is vibrating, how it's affecting you, where your security systems are being compromised because of your own unconscious, and how the sabotages are going to interfere. I can also show you the solutions. This is just my gift for you because, the more people on the playground, the more fun it is. And it's no fun to be a seed when you don't think you're a seed. If you have not realized your own potential, guys, you're still a seed. You don't want to die with this as a seed and the potential of this world. That's why 3D is imploding. It's going away because it's too heavy. And if you're waiting for a sign, or waiting for someone to show up, or waiting for the money in the mail, or waiting, then that is a sign that you are heavy and that you are stuck energetically, because there is no weight in the universe. There is no time and space in the universe. So everything is alignment and flow. So if you're not riding that surf, then you're in a riptide. All right. And if you're not in a riptide, then you're standing there getting pushed over by a wave, getting knocked over every time you stand up. That's not fun either. We came here to surf. We came here to live. We came here to thrive. We did not come for it to be easy. We did not come for it to never be uncomfortable. We came to grow our dreams, because our dreams is the signature of who we are. If you have lost your dreams, like, Jess, I don't even know what my dreams are, please come take my analysis. If you don't know what your purpose is at this point, please take my analysis. If your purpose is just to survive and get to Saturday, please. But at the same time, don't go, my sister really needs this, because that's your projection. If you think your sister needs this, I want you to do this first. Okay? Yes, maybe you both need it, but your quick reaction to her journey means your eyes are not on your own paper enough. Your eyes on your paper. The way you're going to show her the way is through example. All right? So here we are, Catch 22, Rude Awakening Solutions. I'm all about solutions. I'm all about the why and the how. The universe handles the when, right? I'm sorry. The universe handles the how and the when. We handle the what and the why. Why do I feel this way? When did it start? The universe says, you do 50%, I'll do 50%. But guess what? You are the universe. So you're really doing all of it, but you only need to consciously work on two parts. All right? What and why, and how and when will put you back into the flow and alignment of all of your hopes and dreams, no matter what's happening to the collective, no matter what's happening in the government, no matter what's happening in the money, no matter what's happening in the stock market, no matter what food's disappearing from the shelves. It got nothing to do with you when you're in alignment of the me, myself, and I. All right. Have a great July. And hopefully there was a nugget here that gave you confirmation of what you already knew. And I invite you to go on my website under the workshops. There's a button called Free Biohacking Analysis. Go ahead and click on that and get your appointment made. For the first, 50 people, I'm going to do those personally. If you don't get qualified as those first 50 people, you'll get an email from me saying, I can have someone else take you through it, or you can get on a waiting list, which I don't recommend. But yeah, at least that way you'll have your analysis done and you'll know where you are in this journey of integration, which ultimately you are on a journey for freedom, not healing. You are very rebootable. You are very fixable. Nothing is impossible. You were designed to be completely unlimited if and how you integrate your own pain. All right? So have a great rest of the weekend, and I will see most of you in the classroom, the Alchemy Masterclass. I'll see some of you in Kansas City at the Biohacking Center. I'll see some of you in Spain and Ireland in September. And those of you who are opening up our franchises around the world, we'll be chatting this week because we have a ton to talk to. All right, for the rest of you guys, enjoy this journey because really, ultimately, it's just me, myself, and I, disguised as different faces, different places, and different situations that are all integratable with love.